Hey everyone, and welcome to my channel Cakes by MK. In today's video, we're going to be taking a step back in time and trialing out a 2,000-year-old cheesecake recipe. So I thought it would be really interesting to see what our oldest documented cheesecake recipe tastes like, as well as how it's different to cheesecakes that we have today. Also, if you're new to my channel, then please click the subscribe button below and don't forget to turn on the notification bell so that you're updated whenever I upload a new video. But apart from that, stay tuned and I hope you guys enjoy this video. So the first step to making our ancient cheesecake today is to make our cheese. So back in those days, you ain't gonna find any processed cheese anywhere, so today we're gonna keep it as authentic as possible and make our own. Now it's actually pretty easy making this cheese. We're gonna be making a soft cheese today, and the way you do that is you just grab a whole lot of milk, you put that into a pot and you bring that to about 195 degrees, so that's just before it's about to boil, and then you add an acid to it. So today I've got some white vinegar that I'm gonna be adding to our milk. You can even use lemon juice, or you can use a different type of vinegar as well. And then basically you just let that sit for about 10 minutes and then you'll see that the milk starts to curdle, and that's what we're gonna make our cheese from. And you want to make sure that you're giving it a stir every now and then so that it doesn't scorch on the bottom. So while this milk is heating up, I thought I'd give you guys a quick little history lesson on where this cheesecake actually comes from. So basically there was this guy named Cato, and he wrote a book in 160 BC, so that's over 2,000 years ago, and it's also the oldest piece of documented Latin prose that we have today. And basically if you translate the title into English, it's called On Farming or On Agriculture. And in this book there's a whole bunch of really interesting recipes on the different types of things people used to eat back in those days. And I came across 3 recipes which were kind of cake-like. So one was called placenta, which is not made out of the placenta that you're thinking about. And then there were also 2 cheesecakes. So one was a sweet cheesecake and one was a savory cheesecake. So I decided to go for the sweet cheesecake for 3 reasons. 1, because it looked the easiest out of all 3. 2, because I have a major sweet tooth. And 3, because it gives us something that we can compare modern cheesecake to. And the name of this sweet cheesecake that we're making today is called Sevillum, which is, I think, how you pronounce it. So our milk is at the correct temperature now, which means that we can take it off the heat and mix in our vinegar. And then just give it a good mix, and then we'll be back to see how it's going in 10 minutes. So it's been about 10 minutes now, and as you can see, our milk has curdled. It's probably not the prettiest thing to see, but it is what we need for our cheese. So now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to strain this mixture in a muslin cloth, and then I'm going to squeeze the muslin cloth and put that over a strainer and leave that for about an hour for any of the excess liquid to fall through, and then we should be left with some beautiful cheese. Alright, so I'm going to let that sit there now for about an hour, and then hopefully we'll come back to some really nice cheese. Alright guys, so I am back, but not with nice cheese yet, because as I was putting this away, I was kind of taking a closer look at it, and I thought this looks way too much like normal milk. So the excess, liquid that comes from the cheese should actually be quite thin and yellowy. So I thought, okay, I'm going to heat it up again, I'm going to put some more vinegar in and then see what happens. So I did that, and I think now we've got, that yellowy kind of mixture that we should have got initially. So if you take a closer look, the liquid's a lot more yellow and thin now, which is what we want, and it's even more unpleasant to look at now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to strain the rest of this now into another muslin cloth, and then hopefully we'll have a lot more cheese to work with. Alright, so I'm gonna go strain this over the sink now, get all that excess water out, and then hopefully we'll be back with 2 nice batches of beautiful cheese. So it's been about an hour now, our cheese has turned out really cool, and now the next step is to combine the rest of the ingredients and then get this thing into the oven. So the next thing we gotta do is we gotta add some flour to our cheese and give that a good mix until it's all fully combined. So once that's all mixed, the next step is to add some honey and an egg to our bowl. Now at the moment the mixture's pretty crumbly, so I'm hoping that when we add these next 2 ingredients it kind of turns into more of a doughy cakey texture. So a quick fun fact, honey was the only sweetener that was used at the time because sugar wasn't refined yet, so it was only a couple of centuries later that sugar was actually refined. So this is turning out to be quite a mission to mix with a spoon, and they probably just used their hands back in those days anyway, so I'm just gonna get my hands in there. Alright, so I've given this mixture a really good mix now with my hands, and it's turned into this kind of soft, doughy texture, which I'm hoping it's supposed to be. And now the next thing we need to do is we need to get this into a lightly greased dish, which has a lid on it, and then pop the lid on and get it into the oven. So in terms of cook time, it doesn't really give us much to go on. All it says in the recipe is, see that you bake the center thoroughly, for it is deepest there. So yeah, I have no idea how long I need to keep this in the oven for, but I did look at a few recipes online of people who've made it in today's day and age, and they seem to keep it in the oven for about 1 hour and 40 minutes. So I'm just gonna maybe keep it in for 1 hour, 20 minutes, and then I'll check it at that point, and then we'll go from there. And also, if you are interested in making this yourself, if you for some reason would like to make this ancient cheesecake, then I will have the link to the full recipe below. So our ancient cheesecake is out of the oven now. It was in there for about 1.5 hours, and it's got this really nice kind of honey scone smell coming from it. So I'm really curious to see what it's going to taste like. But before we taste it, we've got one more step left, and that is to add some more honey on the top along with some poppy seeds, and then we're going to put it back in the oven for a little while. So for the next part, it doesn't quite say how long we need to put it back into the oven for. All it says is to cook it for a while, and I'm not quite sure what a while means, but I'm just gonna pop it in and maybe check it every 5 minutes or so and just see how it's going, and I'm assuming it should end up with maybe kind of like a caramelized top. I don't know, let's just put it in and see how it goes. So our civilum or sawillum, whichever is correct, is out of the oven now. I left it in there for about 10 minutes. The edges started to brown quite a bit, so I thought it's probably time to take it out. And now the last thing to do is just give it a taste tester and see how it tastes and see how different it is compared to cheesecakes that you find today. So Cato does say just serve in the dish with a spoon. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to dig right in straight from the dish. So the texture is really interesting. I'd say it's more like a bread as opposed to, you know, like a creamy cheesecake that you might find today. They do say in history that cakes initially were basically breads that people used to sweeten with honey. So I guess that's pretty much what this is. Yeah, so I'm just going to try it out now and see what it tastes like. My take on it is it pretty much tastes like a sweet bread. So it's quite nice. It's definitely not what you would take as your normal cheesecake today. But I guess back in those days, that's how it was. Yeah, it's interesting. The honey adds a really nice touch to it on the top, so it sweetens it up quite a bit. Yeah, but it is quite interesting. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I wouldn't, you know, kind of recommend it for you to make at your next birthday party to wow your guests. Don't get me wrong, it's not bad. I've had about 5 bites now. I might just be hungry, I don't know. But it's not bad, it's just that it's not your normal cheesecake. So don't make it expecting, you know, today's kind of cheesecake. I'd say that our taste buds these days are definitely more spoiled than taste buds back in the day, so this might not fly, you know, today, but it does make you appreciate how simple people used to eat back then, and, you know, sometimes it makes you think that maybe we need to just tone things back a little bit and, you know, go back to eating more simpler food, which is probably a lot better for our bodies. I hope you guys learned a little something about cake history today and where cheesecakes originated from, as well as how different they taste to, you know, cheesecakes we have today. But apart from the difference in taste, we still need to be grateful for this original recipe, even though it might not be as nice, you know, for our taste buds, our modern taste buds, because if we didn't have this recipe, then we may not have the, you know, modern day cheesecake that we have today. But apart from that, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe for more videos like this, and thanks again for watching Cakes by MK.